Alrighty, hey, what's going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today we are talking about the epic return of AJ Lee. Yes, it was awesome. I love the segment. I love the setup they did. They did the best they could. Because obviously, as we all know, WWE Shop, whoever did it, spoiled it on Twitter, as we all know. They did the best they could. CM Punk mentioned AJ Lee's name right away when the fans were talking about it, because obviously pretty much everybody knew AJ Lee was coming back. And if people didn't know AJ Lee was coming back, they knew the moment that WWE and Shop.com employee decided to spoil it on Twitter, which was immediately deleted. But the damage had been done by that point. But nonetheless, people still loved it despite it being ruined by WWE Shop. And it was a good segment. So it was a great setup. You know, basically the way you thought it would go. Punk basically saying he's not gonna, put his hands on Becky Lynch. And then, you forced me, He even made a segment with his sister, coming in or whatever. But then eventually AJ Lee came out, the music came in, they played the music. AJ Lee kind of, standing around for a little bit, and then finally starts to do the trademark skip to the ring. And it was amazing. And there was some footage actually after SmackDown where she was actually holding the Women's Intercontinental Champion, and skipping around with that as well. Overall good. They actually showed, backstage AJ Lee actually officially signing the contract with Triple H, that she is now going to be a WWE wrestler again. And I am curious to see what they're doing with AJ Lee but beyond Wrestling Palooza, because obviously Wrestling Palooza, they're going to have a mixed tag team match. That's pretty obvious. But I am interested to see what they're going to do with AJ Lee, because this is a stacked women's division now. For anybody that doesn't know, in case you're too young or weren't alive, but when AJ Lee retired or left WWE, they still had the Divas division. It was still the Divas champion. The new women's title hadn't been introduced yet, because unfortunately the new women's championship is not lineage to the old women's championship, which I still think was a stupid decision, by the way. When they had Charlotte Flair come out with the Divas title at WrestleMania and said that she was now going for the women's championship, and the winner of that would be the new women's champion and officially retiring the Divas championship. What they should have done was basically reactivated the old women's championship, and then the winner of that match would have been the new women's championship from the old title, the old title lineage. New belt design, but, new title lineage. And they have done that before, because the Intercontinental Championship was retired for over a year and then was reactivated with the old lineage. And that's what they should have done with the women's title, at least the first one. Obviously, they made the SmackDown one, which I believe the SmackDown one is currently the SmackDown one, if I'm not mistaken, is now the World Women's Championship, and the WWE Women's Championship is the Raw Women's Championship, which those lineage continued, by the way. They continued those lineages, even though they renamed the titles. They continued the lineage of that. To me, the Raw Women's Champion, which is now the WWE Women's Champion, should have been the lineage that's traced back to I know there's checking past with her now, but the Fabulous Moolah, Wendy Ripper, all those, all the Attitude Era women, Jacqueline, Sable, China obviously also won it, Lita, Trish Stratus, in the Attitude Era, or I'm sorry, well actually that's end of Attitude Era into the Ruthless Aggression Era. That should have all been tied into it. But yeah, AJ Lee never won the women's championship because the women's championship, the original one, was merged with the Divas title, and the women's champion the new women's title had not been around yet, so she only won the Divas champion. And she never was. She was considered a diva wrestler back then because it was still the Divas division, even though she was by far better than a lot of the divas on that roster at the time. I am curious to see what they do with her. I mean, she was prancing around with that Women's Intercontinental Championship. I mean, I don't have a problem with her winning the Intercontinental Women's Championship. But I just feel like I feel like she should go for the women's title like at least once. I mean, she looks in great shape, especially, it's been like 10 years since she wrestled for WWE. I mean, she never came back to any wrestling company. She never joined Punk in All Elite Wrestling when he was in AEW. So, she's literally not wrestled for 10 years. So I am very curious to see where she is at with, her, what she, in terms of wrestling, where her wrestling, skill sets at right now. But, she looks, from what I've seen in her thing, her couple minutes beating up Becky Lynch, she looks pretty in good shape. So I hope that we see AJ Lee at some point win the women's title, one of the women's titles. I mean, there's two of them now, but if she wins the Intercontinental title, I don't have an issue with that either. The Intercontinental title kind of needs to be a little elevated because right now it's the women's Intercontinental title is kind of new. And it seems with the United States one, they're trying to make more of the younger women win that, and where it feels like with the women's one, they had Valkyria have it, but now they have Becky with it. It feels like what they're trying to do more is have the veteran. It feels like they're trying to have more of the veteran women having the winning the Intercontinental champion, and then having the the newer main roster women going for the U.S. That it seems like at least that's what they're doing, because it's like there's not much you can do because there's so many titles. There's so many titles now, and it's really hard to keep track and in terms of where somebody is going to be going. So. And how you're gonna book. So and this is for the men as well, So I think that does make sense. Now, like I said, are they gonna have? Is AJ Lee gonna have a feud with Becky Lynch after Wrestling Palooza? Probably. But I would like to see where her storyline goes beyond Wrestling Palooza. Because eventually she's got to be like wrestling on her own without Punk, right? And same thing with Punk. They're eventually going to have to, continue doing their own storylines outside of each other. Same with Seth and Becky. they're eventually going to have to, do their own things outside of that. But I am very curious to how things are handled afterwards. That is the more intriguing thing that I would say. But yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see what they book and how the Wrestling Palooza match is going to be. I do think at Wrestling Palooza we will see AJ and Punk win that match, because obviously Seth has gotten he's gotten the one up on Punk so far. So, and since it's not a title match, it would make sense. I don't know exactly how the storyline. I mean, obviously, you got War Games in November, so they might hold on the fort until then for them to have like a team. I think you got to slow the feud somehow down if this is going into if the idea is for them to face each other at WrestleMania next year, I think the feud has to be slowed down a little bit at some point, if that is the plan, because I do think that can be a night 2 match. Like, I think if it's Punk and Seth at WrestleMania 42, that could be for the world title. That could be a night 2 main event. Like, that could be the night 2 main event over whatever Cody's going to do, because Cody's probably going to be the WWE champion next year for WrestleMania, right? So that probably could be a credible night 2 over Cody being the night 2 main event, because the way they're setting up that storyline, and the way you have that feud being built up, from the moment Punk got back to the company to all the, other things that they've been focused on during the time, and now that they're like totally dead on in this feud, this is where the collide would happen, and then you would finally have Punk win the Rumble. Unless they go with LA Knight, which, I'll be happy if LA Knight wins the Rumble too, because I think he actually deserves it. But I think they're going to have Punk win the Rumble. But then again, I said I thought Punk was going to win the Rumble last year, and he should have won it last year. I don't know. That's where I think they're going with that. Again, with AJ Lee, I think, maybe whatever the pay-per-view is after Wrestling Palooza. I don't know if there's a pay-per-view after Wrestling Palooza in between Survivor Series or not. Or maybe Saturday night's main event. But that might be where you go with AJ Lee right away, is have her face Becky Lynch at a Saturday night. I don't know if there's a Saturday night's main event before the Survivor Series, or they actually wrestle each other at Survivor Series, because you have a men's War Games and a women's War Games. So maybe you have AJ Lee at Survivor Series go up against Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Women's Championship. So those are a couple ideas that I could think of. What could do for the next couple of months after this Wrestling Palooza pay-per-view. But yeah, overall, very happy for AJ Lee being back in the WWE. Very happy for Punk. Obviously, I'm Team Punk. We've been Team Punk since 2006. Since he made his ECW WWE debut, we've been Team Punk. So that is Ben the guy. That's the guy, guys. That's the guy. We gotta get him to win the world title, though. More than 5 minutes. But yeah, that's it. Best in the World back with the Best in the World's wife. So AJ Lee's back. And yeah, we're happy. Skipping around. Liking it. I'm out. Make sure to comment, rate. If you like this video or my videos, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell for the latest content. Thank you. And that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.